In this video, I will explain how to graph linear equations that are in standard form. Standard form means that the equation will have the form ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are numbers. They could be positive, negative, whole numbers, fractions. Now, in order to do that, we need to identify two intercepts, the x and the y-intercept. And so far, we have been working with the y-intercept when graphing the equations in slope-intercept form. So let's take a look at this first line where the y-intercept is at 0, positive 2. So let me write those coordinates. Now we take a look at the green line, then the y-intercept would be found at 0, negative 4. And then for the third line, the red line, the y-intercept would be at 0, negative 6. So if we take a look at the three sets of coordinates that I have for those 3 points, I have 0, positive 2, 0, negative 4, and 0, negative 6. What you want to notice about this is that the x coordinate is always going to be 0 anytime you identify the y-intercept. Okay, so x equals 0. Now, in the same way, I can identify where the lines cross the x-axis. So this red line will cross the x-axis at the point negative 4, 0. The second line here, this black line, will cross at negative 3, 0. And then this other green line here will also cross the x-axis, but at the point positive 4, 0. So let's take a look at the coordinates of those points: negative 4, 0, negative 3, 0, and positive 4, 0. And just like with the y-intercept, something that these 3 points have in common is that they have a 0, but in this case for the y-coordinate. So anytime that I'm trying to find where the line crosses the x-axis, I need to let y be equal to 0. So this is information that we're going to be using to then identify 2 points on the line so that we can then graph the line that belongs to the equation in standard form. So let's take a look at that. So say I want to graph the linear equation in standard form 3x plus 5y equals negative 15. So I want to find the x-intercept first. In order to do that, I need to remember that the x-intercept happens whenever y is equal to 0. So what I need to do is then rewrite my equation 3x plus 5 times y, but instead I'll replace the y with 0. Okay, and this will be equal to negative 15. Now remember that any number times 0 equals 0. So we can simply say that this will go away, and we can rewrite this equation as 3x equals negative 15. Now this is a one-step equation, and you could possibly guess that x should be negative 5, right? 3 times negative 5 would be equal to negative 15. But let's show our work. So in order to solve for x, I need to go ahead and divide the left and the right side by positive 3. Multiplying and dividing by the same number simplifies to 1, so I get x. This will be equal to negative 15 divided by positive 3. That is equal to a negative 5. So this means that the x-intercept is going to be a point on the x-axis at negative 5. So the coordinates for such a point would then be negative 5, 0. So we go ahead and then draw the point at that particular location. And now we're ready to find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept will happen whenever x is equal to 0. So we'll follow a similar process. I will rewrite my equation, but now instead of x, I will replace that with a 0. So I will have 3 times 0, and then just keep on rewriting the equation. Plus 5y equals negative 15. A number times 0 will be 0. So let's just say that that disappears, and all I have is 5y is equal to negative 15. Same thing, you could probably guess what the y value should be, but we can always solve by dividing by 5 both sides, and here we're going to get 1y because 5 divided by 5 simplifies to 1. So y is equal to negative divided by a positive is going to be negative, and we get negative 3. So this is a y-intercept. Again, this is where the line is going to cross the y-axis at 0, negative 3. So now we can go ahead and then plot the point at 0, negative 3 on the y-axis. Okay, so we should have a point on the x-axis, 1 on the y-axis. And now we're ready to actually draw the line. And this would be the graph of 3x plus 5y equals negative 15 by using the x and the y-intercept.